Hello and welcome to Blues View. I'm Paul Bradley and I'm joined on the phone by Birmingham City correspondent Colin Tatham. Good morning, Colin.
Morning.
First up, Colin, you were at the game at Craven Cottage at the weekend. What was your verdict?
I think it was one of disappointment on reflection, that the fact that Birmingham went ahead and they were very comfortable and played very well in the first half, and Fulham were pretty poor and their fans were going on their backs and you could see they were a side pretty low on confidence. I think had Birmingham not conceded when they did so early into the second half, yet again, which is a bit of a problem, I think they could have held on and seen the game out. So in that respect, it was disappointing. On the flip side, I suppose you go away from home and any point you do get in the Premier League on your travels is ultimately a decent point.
Now, you said in your report this week that it's now been 13 games on the road for Blues since they've picked up 3 points. How much of a problem do you see that, and how much of a problem does McLeish see it as?
Yeah, I think it becomes a big problem if the home form starts to go down the pan, which at the moment it doesn't seem to be doing. And Alex McLeish has been quite bullish when asked about it. He was asked about it after the game Saturday, and somebody said, was it a mental block that the club had? And he was quite sort of forthright in his response, sort of, saying, well, he doesn't care if they don't win for another 2 years away from home, as long as they stay in the Premier League by hook or by crook. But deep down, I know he knows that they have to chalk some wins on the board away from home. And the base is there. Obviously, they're very good defensive, very disciplined and organised, as we know. But it's in that final third. It's the age-old problem. They're not clinical enough. The ball doesn't stick up top with the forwards well enough for the rest of the players to join in. And again, I keep saying it, but it will boil down to, in various transfer windows, attracting the high-end, top-quality type of players with pace, athleticism, and a bit of something else that will, sort of conjure up these moments of magic that will give them more goals than they're currently scoring.
Sure. Well, after the game we caught up with Alex McLeish, and here's some of his thoughts.
I thought we played very well first half. The goal was magnificent. Good to see Kleb looking a lot sharper, linked up nicely, and of course the goal was just one of these terrific pieces of play that we associate him with. We're still trying to get him to a level where he can last 90 minutes. As you see, a bit of cramp. We hope it's nothing more than that. His hamstring, and that he's okay, but he'll benefit from getting the minutes. We can keep winning at home and take a point away. If we get 4 points out of 6 every 2 games, then I think we'll be okay. I don't think we'd worry about that too much. It's no matter. Someday we'll win away from home, but I don't think anybody has discussed that at all. It's not easy to win away from home,
Now, Colin, Larsson obviously scored the goal in the game against Fulham. What sort of season is he having so far, and what kind of lies ahead for him in terms of his future at Blues?
His season so far, it's been good. He's been playing well. He's an integral part of the Birmingham team, the way it is at the moment, whereby his delivery at set pieces in open play and his work rate is tremendous. Now, obviously we know about his contractual situation, and I spoke to him about it, and he wouldn't give any clues, and I think he's pretty open-minded. I think he would like to stay, but there's no agreement on the deal yet, and from Birmingham's perspective, they can probably think, well, maybe we can get a player like a Sean Wright-Phillips, like a David Bentley, who will give them a little bit more in the attacking third and maybe is more dynamic. But the flip side of that, a player like that will cost with terms of a fee plus wages. So are they better off actually giving him sort of what he wants? It's a real conundrum, and I think it would be sad to see Sebastian Larsson go if he does go. But ultimately, if he does, then they have to replace him with a better player that will help them to move on up a little notch.
Okay, well, after the game we also spoke to Seb Larsson, and here's what he had to say.
We knew they were going to do that, but in the first half I also think that we were solid, we were compact, we dealt with what they threw at us, and we felt that we had control of the game, and we looked fairly dangerous on the counter-attack. Second half, it all started with the goal we conceded. Obviously, from our point of view, it was a sloppy goal, two sort of free headers in the box. Unfortunately, I don't know what the linesman was thinking when he gave the corner, because it was nowhere near being out, but those things happen.
Now, moving on to the clash with Aston Villa, Colin, how do you see McLeish playing that? Is he going to field a full-strength team, do we believe?
Well, he said all along that he will field his strongest possible available team, but he may have thrown a sort of few red herrings whereby he has been asked that, well, are you going to make wholesale changes and play reserves like you have been in previous rounds? And he said, well, I do have to freshen it up. I have to be mindful of the energy-sapping sort of experiences the players have had over the last few weeks. But I think as well he knows, under further questioning, that if he sort of made 8 and 9 changes, I don't think the fans would stand for it. And certainly, from a personal point of view, he has got to play what he's recognised as his first team, because semi-finals and finals don't come round often, and throwing to the fact that it is Villa and it is at home, then he may have an eye on the weekend in the Premier League, but ultimately, as I said, finals don't come round often, and if you've got a chance to try to progress to one, you've got to do everything in your power, in my opinion, to get there, and that means picking your best players in your best team shape. So I think there might be a couple of changes, and there might be sort of players doubtful through injury, but I would be pretty surprised and very disappointed, to be honest, if he did completely sort of put a bomb under it and we saw a completely different team out there on Wednesday evening.
OK, Colin, well, we'll wait and see what sort of team he names on Wednesday. Thanks for that today. We'll be back on Wednesday with a preview of the game against Villa. That's it for now. Thanks and bye-bye.